How's it going, my friends? Well, I went ahead and put everything on that I could, populating the playing field. Everything's on there except the plastics. In this episode, that's what we're going to work on, are the plastics on this. But as you can see, yeah, still noisy. We still got troubleshooting to do on the soundboard and everything else. Everything lights up. I do know we have some lights out, all new bulbs in it, but we got a couple of segments or lines, whatever you want to call, out on our light driver board. We have that one's not working, this one's not working, this out hole isn't working, and I think now one of these drop targets here are not working properly, and we have 1 and 2 are out. So we still got some work to do, but that's later on. What we're going to do in this episode is fix up some plastics so we can get this put back together the rest of the way, and it'll be done. The playing field will be done except for when the rest of my inserts come in. I'm still screwing with these. I don't know what's going to happen here yet. Worst comes to worst, we'll make up some inserts for it. But let's turn this off so we don't have to listen to that in the background. It'll drive you nuts. What we're doing today in this episode is we're going to straighten out some plastics. As you can see, this one is just a touch warped. A little bit. So that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to get all these plastics straight, as straight as we can, so we can get it all put back on here. This one I did already. We need a better contrast so you can see that better. You can see it turned out good. So, yeah, just throw them around. So that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to get all of our plastics fixed up. You can see most of them are warped. A lot of that's from years of 44 bulbs and just over time plastics. And that one. What do you think? But we're going to straighten everything out as best we can so we can get it put back together and move on to some troubleshooting. Yeah, it's coming along. Alright, I'll get you set up over on the bench and we'll start fixing some of these plastics. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to heat these up. I'm using my rework station. My heat gun for my rework station will get hot enough to melt solder. And all I'm going to do is we're going to heat this plastic up until it's malleable, but not too much to where you're melting it. Trust me, I've scorched them before. And I've gotten them so hot to where the edges start browning, getting brown. Just kind of testing it to see how warm it is, and see if it's pliable enough. Because what I'm going to do once I get it warm enough is I'm going to lay another 2x4 right on top of it and squish it, so it'll flatten itself out. A lot of times on these I can tell when they're getting hot enough, because they'll actually start laying down flat again. This one's already, it's starting to lay down a little bit, but it's still not warm enough. And that's some of it coming out. Like I said, it's really easy to get it too hot. Now I know a hair dryer won't work. I don't think you can get it hot enough with a hair dryer. I think you'd actually need a heat gun. A regular heat gun would work. Just have to be really careful, like I said, when you're heating this up, that you don't get it too hot on the edges, because it'll start browning up. It's like you're making toast. And like I said, don't be in any hurry. If you get in a hurry, then you're going to melt it. Especially with a heat gun or the rework station. Okay, she's getting pretty soft. Now, like I said, I'm just gonna press this down and hold it long enough for it to cool off, and then we'll take a peek. Still got some in it. Got a lot of it out. And yes, it's raining again. You can even flatten it out some with your 2x4 here and heat it up. It takes time. This isn't something you're just going to sit down and do in about 15 minutes. If you want your plastics to look good, you're going to be working on them a lot. That plastic will get so hot that you can't even touch it. That's why you can't heat it up and form it with your hands, because it just gets way too hot. We're getting her. Okay, I'll work on it a little bit more, and then I'll bring you back when I have it done, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, that's one. You're not going to get it all, but you can get a lot of it out. At least it'll sit a lot better on there. Okay, so now we'll move on to another one. This one, you can see isn't quite as bad, but it does have a really bad, really bad wave right through there, and we want to take that out, and we'll do the same thing with it. We'll just get her laying up there, and we'll heat it up and flatten it out. Okay, and there's that one. A little bit on it, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than what it was. Where are you at? There you are. Yeah, it's a lot better than what it was. Alright, let me see if I can find one that's really, nice and warm. Stick that in your pocket. Let me go see if I can find one that's really bad that we can work on. Yeah, here's one that's really bad. Now let's see what we can do with this one. We'll start out here on the end and see if we'll work our way to the back, or to the big part. Come on. Hopefully we'll be able to get this one straightened out. The small ones aren't too bad. You can get them pretty well squared away. And if you have small areas of plastic, when you start getting into bigger areas, it's really hard, because it's usually warped out here on the end or all the way across, and you have to heat up that whole area to get that to get soft enough. You can see it flexing as I'm heating it up. It's taking the tension out of it, and it's trying to relax back into its original form. It wants to go straight. We just have to help it along. It's kind of like scared straight. We're gonna heat it straight. So the small areas they're easier to do because you don't have such a big of an area to heat up. And so you can start getting them straight. But when you have to heat up a big area, it makes it a little tougher, because you got a lot of area to heat up, and you don't want to heat it up so much that it starts warping on its own. And kind of probably asking, well, why didn't I just buy a new set of plastics for this machine? Well, the new set of plastics are, I think I priced them, they were $170 for a set of plastics for this. We only have a couple of them. The two top ones are broke, and you're not really going to see it from down below. This corner here that's broke out, I don't know if you can see it, but this corner right here that's broke out goes right up against and kind of goes under the back box, so you really don't see it that much. And the other piece that's broke is right above one of the holes at the top. So you don't really notice it, except for you see that metal guard sticking up in the air. And $170 is quite a bit of money when you're trying to work on these older pinball machines. You know, if it was yours, you can buy new plastics for it. It all depends on how much money you want to put into them. I kind of have a budget with this machine, and I kind of burn it all up. Burn up a lot of the budget on the new MPU for it. So now we're going to fix plastics. Wish I had the pieces that were missing. We could fix them up too and get the pieces put back together. These are a little too complex to be trying to make cut by hand. Eventually I'm going to have a small CNC machine where I can cut my own plastics. But until then, we're going to work with what we got. Anything will be better than what they were. I mean, the plastics they're in good shape, they're just warped. Kind of like my mind. Alright. Boy. That looks good. What do you think? How's the rest of it? Yeah, we got one little hump here. Let's see if we can get that little Humpty-Doo out of there. They seem to warp quite a bit right at the screw heads too. A lot of that is from it trying to warp into a round. Seems like when stuff warps, when these plastics warp, they want to try and go round on you. And when you have the screws, that's what's holding it down, so they kind of warp in between the screws. I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but that's just kind of a theory I have. See this one, this edge here, just laid right down on its own. I heated it up and it just kind of laid right back down where it belongs. And we'll hold it down for a little bit and let it cool off a bit. That's better. Much better. Now now it's presentable. Now I got all the plastic straightened out. You can see a lot of these really came out good. There's a few of them that still have a little bit of a ripple in them here and there, but not too bad. So now it's time to get them put on the Playfield. Need to get all these put on our Playfield so we can get this finished up and move on to some troubleshooting. So I'll get you set up in the tripod and we'll do a time lapse, and I'll get all the plastics put on it, and our Playfield will be just about complete except for some inserts that I'm waiting on. We're missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inserts, but they're on their way, so we'll get that all put together. So let me get you set up. Playfield all done. Except the inserts. I gotta keep throwing that in there because somebody's gonna say, well, you don't have the inserts in yet. But everything is now on the Playfield. We got all of our plastics done, all straightened out as best as they're gonna get. And I think looks good. All cleaned and waxed and touched up. See, now it's hard to see some of those spots that I did touch up. That one is not too bad. That one either. But just at a glance, if you're just looking at it and playing, you're not really going to see those spots. But I think it turned out really well. I'm happy with it. Alright. So this was just kind of a quick video. So if you like what you see, hit the like button. Helps out the channel an awful lot. And I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. So until next time, see ya.